We are not opposed to patenting any innovation or invention that uses a sequence found in humans or pathogens without then claiming a patent on the basic sequence or biomarker. These foundational building blocks needed for medical care should remain available for everyone for innovation and invention. Please do not go back to dividing up the human genome by patents that restrict medical practice, increase costs of care, and limit patient access to life-saving tests and therapies. To be clear, PARA is bad for patients, bad for healthcare, and bad for innovation. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Leonard. I noted during the opening statements there was a lot of note-taking, so I'm looking forward to the debate round that'll end after my other colleagues have had a chance to ask questions. Real quick one from each of you. Do you believe that the court, specifically the Supreme Court, have turned Section 101 from a historically coarse filter to a fine filter? Dr. Iancu?
Well, first of all, thank you for the elevation to a doctor. Appreciate
you should be. I've known
appreciate
you
the honorary degree.
Had a doctor on the back end. Sorry.
Yes, I believe.
I meant to say director, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Senator, I do believe that that's exactly what the Supreme Court has done.
And Mr. Lee.
Thank you for the question, Senator. Respectfully, I don't think that's the case. I think the Supreme Court's recent cases in Section 101 have been mischaracterized a bit. I think they're generally speaking procedural. They describe a process in which you conduct a Section 101 inquiry, but that the substance of the inquiry is consistent with it.
I got a yes and a no. We'll get back to that in the debate round. Ms. Peshin. Yes. Dr. Leonard.
No.
Director Iancu, when you were, I did say director that time. At your time at the PTO, you issued guidance around Section 101, and I felt like the guidance did a lot of good. Certainly instructed some of our thinking. But guidance alone is not going to get the job done, right? Tell us why.
Well, given the separation of powers, obviously courts are not bound by administration guidance. They do what they think is right, independent of what the administration says. And in fact, that's what they've done. I will say that that the guidance has indeed done a lot of good at the PTO and the practice before the PTO. What the guidance did, the 2019 guidance, what it did is it took the body of law that the Supreme Court and the Federal Circuit has created in this area and synthesized it in a way that examiners and applicants can understand and follow a very specific process. And the result has been in the 1 year immediately following the guidance that the consistency of decisions in this area went up by 44%. And as Mr. Lee noted earlier, the Federal Circuit affirms over 95% of decisions in this area from the PTO. So therefore, the guidance basically follows the law given by the courts. 2 points are important here. There's 2 problems with the court's jurisprudence here. Number one, it's substantive. The courts have taken upon themselves to exclude from patentability major areas of technology without Congress ever saying it should do that. It's excluding, for example, the medical diagnostics, and, for example, it's excluding the analysis of heavy-duty analysis, a technological analysis of information and data. There's other examples. If there is some exclusions of major areas of technologies that are to be done, this Congress needs to debate that and make that decision for the country. That's a substantive problem. There is a procedural problem. By the way, the substantive problem Congress needs to fix. There is a procedural problem, which is that the courts have created an inconsistent framework that is difficult to follow and predict in the court system itself. That problem is solvable by the administration for processes in front of it, like we did with the 2019 guidance. And we solved the inconsistency problem. Courts could do the same thing if they wanted to. But again, they're not bound by it. What PARA does, it addresses the substantive problem and the procedural problem, and it would do a lot of good that way.
I'm going to hold some of my questions for the second round for me. Senator Durbin.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Bear with me. I'm a liberal arts lawyer who spent a lot of my life in politics. I wouldn't know what to do in a laboratory. I don't know much about genetic testing, but I take it that that is one of the issues that we need to discuss. And I'll start with Dr. Leonard. When I read that the Supreme Court has said law that when it comes to striking down patents on human genes and on abstract ideas, laws of nature, natural phenomena, and abstract ideas are not patentable. That seems to be the general conclusion of the court. They go on to say, or at least in Funk and other cases, natural phenomena similar to abstract ideas are not patent eligible, whereas the application of natural phenomena in a man-made invention is eligible. Dr. Leonard, what you described was genetic testing, and you are saying that some entities believe they have a patentable right to forms of genetic testing to the exclusion of other people who want to use it. Is that correct?
Yes.
And why is that a problem?
The wording in PARA is such that a gene is protected as long as it remains in your body, in my body, in Mr. Tillis's body. However, as soon as you purify or enrich a gene, then it is patent eligible. I can't tell the difference in the laboratory from the genes in your body and the genes that I make in a test tube. They are identical. So basically, by saying when you make copies of a gene, you are changing that gene, you're not really. And you are controlling the medical use of essential information for caring for patients. So the basic building blocks, DNA, when I have a patient who has a mutation in a gene, that mutation exists in that patient. I simply read it. It is a discovery. It is an uncovering of what exists in a patient. It is not an invention or an innovation and should not be patent eligible. So I have no problems with new testing methods, new sequencing instruments, new long-range sequencing, which you don't know what that means, but would be highly innovative and hasn't yet reached the clinical market. So all I am asking is that those basic building blocks